Last week, Sean's View Entertainment booked Monday Night Raw, and it got well over 8,000 views. It's all about numbers. It's all about ratings. It's all about impact. If we can get over 8,000 views, I will be here next week giving you Sean's View and books Monday Night Raw once again. As long as you share, subscribe, like, and comment. Give your feedback on what you think of my booking of Monday Night Raw if I were on the booking team, if I were in charge, if I were running, if I was the powers that be. Once again, this doesn't mean this is what the WWE is going to do or that's what they are set out to do, but this is what I would do. So remember, we are on the road to WWE WrestleMania, but before WrestleMania, we have a roadblock with Triple H and Dean Ambrose. So that will be the focus of this show, Ambrose and Triple H, WWE World Heavyweight title on the line. So Triple H kicks off Raw talking about his WWE World title match versus Dean Ambrose at WWE Roadblock. Triple H points out that Ambrose is not a true friend of Roman Reigns, that he's trying to take the thunder away from Roman Reigns. He says that Dean Ambrose may be he may be crazy, but he's very well aware of the damage that he is causing to his friendship with Roman Reigns. Triple H questions Dean Ambrose's real intentions and motives and why he has inserted himself into the WWE title picture knowing that Roman Reigns is out with an injury. Dean Ambrose then makes his way out to the ring. Dean Ambrose answers this. And it looks like Dean Ambrose, it looks like he makes his way to the ring, all right? He's not in the ring yet, okay? And remember that you got to kind of picture this. You kind of got to visualize what I'm saying. So now Dean Ambrose looks like he's about to talk into the mic to Triple H. So now Ambrose is in the ring. He's got the mic. He looks like he's going to mouth off at Triple H. Instead, Ambrose goes off, takes the mic, and bashes Triple H right in the head with the microphone, all right? He nails Triple H over there with the microphone. But before Ambrose is about to punish Triple H and really open up on him, Lesnar's music hits, but Brock Lesnar does not show up. There is no Brock Lesnar. Okay, Lesnar's music hitting. So this is momentarily distracted Dean Ambrose, okay? Instead, Paul Heyman appears on the Titantron and says that was only a warning. Wait, Ambrose, just wait. Now remember, this is Paul Heyman talking. Wait, Ambrose, just wait. Now as Ambrose is looking up at the Titantron, paying attention to what Paul Heyman's saying, Triple H goes to sneak up on Ambrose until Ambrose turns the table on Triple H with a dirty deeds. So see how we connected the dots there? See how we, there's no complacency here. I'm trying to give a rhyme and a reason as to why things are happening, all right? So we start off the first segment of Raw very strong. So I say that segment, and I know we only have 3 hours to work with, but with commercials and replays, we don't really have 3 hours to work with. So that segment goes from 8:05 to around 8:20. So I feel that's going to be a solid segment. That's going to set the table for the rest of the show, all right? Now from around 8:23, all right, to 8:35, we have Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz, and it goes to a double DQ when Kevin Owens, hits the ring and destroys both superstars. Owens says that this is his moment, this is his time, this is his WrestleMania to shine, and nobody is taking that away from him. The spotlight is on Kevin Owens and the Intercontinental title. From around 8:37 to 8:55, Kevin Owens versus Kalisto, champion versus champion, U.S. champion versus Intercontinental champion. And the winner there, Kevin Owens, gets the victory after a great match, all right? Then 9 o'clock, all right, the 9 p.m. hour. Shane McMahon addresses Vince McMahon's comments from last week, all right? Now, Shane McMahon says that one way or another, this will truly be the end of an era, and that after WrestleMania, the WWE will never be the same again. Vince McMahon then interrupts Shane on the stage. He doesn't come to the ring. He's on the stage now. And tells Shane that he's hit a roadblock early because tonight in that very ring, it's going to be Shane McMahon versus the Demon Kane in a steel cage match. Once again, see how I'm bringing up the consistency. See how I'm giving a rhyme and reason. See how things are gelling and things are performing, okay? Then, from the 9, so that goes from around the 9 p.m. to 9:20 p.m. time frame. Now we go backstage, okay? Because, you know, you got to go backstage here and there. You know, you got to see what's going on behind the scenes. Backstage, Triple H, okay? Triple H is pissed off at Dean Ambrose. Absolutely pissed off. He's outraged, okay? Then Ambrose calls Triple H on his cell phone. Yes, Ambrose calls Triple H on his cell phone. And he tells Triple H that the games have just begun. Ambrose asks Triple H to look up. Triple H says, "What for? Why should I listen to a crazy lunatic?" And then Ambrose says, "Because I'm coming from the rooftop." And as soon as he says, "I'm coming from the rooftop," Triple H looks up, and the ceiling absolutely, literally comes down on Triple H. Not with Ambrose, though, just the ceiling. So Triple H looks up because Ambrose says, "I'm coming for you." Triple H looks up, the ceiling comes down on Triple H, all right? I know it's a little corny, but I'm just trying to be creative. I'm just trying to be different, you know? I'm trying to blur the lines here. But so the bottom falls out, drops out on Triple H. Triple H down on the ground. Triple H, he's embarrassed. Triple H has been embarrassed by Dean Ambrose, okay? All right. So that goes from around 9:22 to around 9:25. So now at this point, Triple H is absolutely livid. Now keep that in mind. Triple H is livid, okay? 9:30, we have Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Charlotte wins by nailing Sasha Banks. And this is something I want to throw in there that's a little bit different. We haven't seen it in a very, very long time. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Charlotte wins by nailing Sasha Banks. Yes, Charlotte nails Sasha Banks with brass knuckles provided by Ric Flair. So that's a different flavor. It's a different taste. Charlotte with a brass knuckle assist knocks out Sasha Banks. 9:52, Kane is backstage, and he goes up to Shane McMahon to give him a brief history lesson on the last time they met in the ring. And we all know the history between Shane and Kane. We don't have to go down that alley. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Because, you know, I got enough time writing and coming up with creative antics and all this stuff. All right, so from 9:56, Shane says that he recalls very well what happened, but this time the fate of the WWE is on him, and that tonight is all about survival to get to WrestleMania. He says he knows what Kane's job is tonight, but he's not going to let that get in the way. He's not going to let that interfere with business. So now we are at the 10 p.m. hour, and the Wyatt family cut a promo on Brock Lesnar for WWE Roadblock. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask the question, where's Roman Reigns? Why was Roman Reigns not on the show? Well, because I'm reading the reports, and once again, I'm trying to go within the guidelines of the WWE. I'm not trying to go too off kilter. They said that Roman Reigns is not going to be at Raw. So if Roman Reigns does show up at Raw, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I did not include him in the final plans or the script for Monday Night Raw because Roman Reigns is reportedly not going to be there. But as we all know, the WWE can change plans. So Roman Reigns will not be a part of this broadcast. Just getting that out there. Doesn't mean he won't be a part of future scripts that I come up with for booking Monday Night Raw. So the Wyatt family cut a promo on Brock Lesnar for WWE Roadblock. Paul Heyman, all right, now that's the 10 p.m. hour. Now, later on after that promo, Paul Heyman comes to the stage to remind the Wyatt family. Now remember, Brock Lesnar is going against Bray Wyatt at Roadblock, so Paul Heyman is there to build up that match for Roadblock. Once again, more consistency, more making sense. So Paul Heyman comes out and reminds the Wyatt family that Brock Lesnar is no man or monster, but he is a machine that will not break down and will take Bray Wyatt to Suplex City. As Heyman cuts a promo on Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, because remember now, Dean Ambrose is taking on Brock Lesnar. So I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone in this segment. I'm trying to accomplish a lot in a short amount of time, okay? As Heyman cuts a promo on Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, sneaks up behind Heyman and puts him in a headlock and threatens to beat on him until Triple H attacks Ambrose from behind. Triple H, now remember I said earlier, Triple H was livid that Dean Ambrose got something over him the last couple of times, okay? So now Triple H is out for blood. Triple H is out for retribution. Triple H attacks Dean Ambrose from behind. Triple H sends Ambrose into the ring and makes a 4-on-1 handicap match. The Wyatt family versus Dean Ambrose. Triple H then makes himself the special guest referee. Ambrose fights on in this match, a valiant effort. But realistically, it was 5-on-1 because Triple H was the referee. You want to talk about stacking the deck against somebody. And it was a valiant effort, but it would be too much as Dean Ambrose was just, like I said, the stack deck was overwhelming. Dean Ambrose does not come out the winner. Triple H then ends this by hitting a pedigree on Dean Ambrose on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then Triple H stands over Ambrose with the title, signaling that that Roadblock is this Sunday and that he's not defeating him for the title. So then we go through a few commercial breaks. We go through a few replays because we know how WWE does that. And then we get to the main event, the main attraction, the main course, the reason why we are here. 10:42 to 11:15. It's the match that Vince McMahon booked earlier on. It's a steel cage match. It's Kane versus Shane O'Mac, with Vince McMahon at ringside watching on. Kane dominates for most of this match until there is a point where Shane comes into the cage, until there was a point where Vince McMahon comes into the cage, okay, as Shane is down from the beating that Kane gave Shane. McMahon instructs Kane to leave the ring and he has done his job for the night. Now as Kane leaves, he shuts the door. Not only does Kane shut the door, but he locks it because Vince McMahon instructed Kane to lock the door. As Vince turns around after arguing with Kane about, lock the door, go away, your services are no longer needed tonight. Vince then takes shots. Let me read my notes here. All right, so he's arguing. All right, and then Shane McMahon, as Vince is turning, Shane tackles Vince and takes his shots at Vince McMahon. So now Shane McMahon has Vince in the cage is locked, and Shane McMahon is going to go all out on Vince McMahon. Shane McMahon demands that a chair be thrown into the ring, so they throw Shane a chair into the cage. Shane puts Vince in one corner and goes coast to coast, driving the chair right into Vince McMahon's head inside the steel cage. Now, keep in mind, during this segment, Kane left. The door was locked. Vince McMahon had nowhere to go. So Shane O'Mac gets one over Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw. And this is how we're going to end the show, with Shane going coast to coast on Vince from one corner to the other, driving a steel chair into Vince McMahon's head inside the steel cage. What a visual that is on the road to WrestleMania. So this is my booking. This is how I would go about it. Your comments, your opinions. And remember, if you want more Sean's View Books Raw, if we get more than 7,000 views on this video, I will be back here next week. Just share, like, subscribe, and comment. It's that simple to get more. Subscribe.